Get your stinking rat out. It's late night large.
Welcome to a late night large, which wants to flash you and hang you. Flash you with a camera and hang the photograph on our wall in a nice frame. Framed for armed robbery is me, Aaron Bliss, while having his sexual misdemeanor played back frame by frame on CCTV at his work disciplinary is Mike Large.
See, they made a mistake playing that back for me in the disciplinary, and then they want me to take it seriously. You know what I mean? I'm stood there and I'm there, sat there watching it, like having a crafty tug under the table. Like, what's going on?
Oh, Jesus.
You know what I mean? I know, let's show him porn.
I was, I can imagine you in that kind of scenario, just going, hold on, stop that. Look, can you see how well I did that? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then just start
I'm being funny. Did you see that? Did you see that? Mike, why did you do it? Come on.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Look at her. What do you mean, why did I do it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Did you see that as well? I hope you're all watching this. Fucking learn a thing or two.
Yeah, just to make it clear, Mike's misdemeanor, he's in trouble for doing it at work. There was no issue of consent this time. So, yeah, just to clear the air.
I'm not at all, by the way, in trouble. Let me just throw that out there if we're throwing disclaimers out there.
Yeah. So, Mike, we've now officially entered the second year of the pandemic.
Let's not talk about what I've entered and what I haven't entered, all right? We're getting off that subject.
Yeah, off that subject, because you won't have a job to go back to. We're into the second year of the pandemic, and things are apparently looking a little bit more optimistic, but then we've heard that more than a few times. So what we've had so far, at time of recording, we've just had the good news that the rule of 6 will kick in now. So the restrictions have relaxed enough for us to meet up to another 5 people outside of the home. So a picnic, I guess a barbecue, just a general gathering in the park or in your garden. Although, again, the question mark comes if you have it in the garden, well, what are people just going to piss in the flower pot? You know, as soon as you bring it to someone's garden, there's always a question, well, how do people use the toilet? That kind of contravenes the whole reason for the rule of 6.
Bushes.
Yeah, so we're getting back to what we were talking about before, like, yeah, we'll have a barbecue in the park, take a few dog shit bags, and we can just crap in those and just toss them over our shoulder. Yeah. Or hang on trees as people. Have you seen those, Mike? You seen those utter states of people who like must have like tumbleweed blowing through their heads, where they've gone to the trouble of taking dog shit bags with them, right? And then obviously nature takes its course, dog takes a dump. What do? They go to the trouble of picking it up and then, I'll not the bag and I'll just hang it on a tree, or I'll leave it in the grass. And you just feel like it. Honestly, do you know what it makes me feel like? I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't get too wound up about it, but I know some people really do. It just makes you want to take people into, you know, a quiet room with no windows and just waterboard them for like an hour.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like you get that wound up by it, yeah.
But do you know what I mean? I mean, how much of an antisocial dick do you want to be, right? Because the whole logic just escapes them. Like, you know what I'm going with this, right, Mike? Because the whole reason you take a dog shit bag is not to cover the shit up. It's to literally move it into a receptacle where it can all be collected and disposed of sanitarily at some later stage. Now, the reason why it's completely fucking pointless to put it in a bag and hang it on a tree or chuck it in the grass is because shit decomposes naturally. And as soon as you put it in a plastic bag, it's not going to decompose naturally. It's just going to be a danger and fucking rubbish.
Abyss, have we spoken about dog shit enough yet?
No.
Getting aroused.
Sorry, how can we bring this back to COVID? And don't tell me that this has not been a problem during the lockdown, because we know that there's been people who probably bought dogs just for the purpose of like, oh, that's how I can get more exercise than I'm legally entitled to. I'll get a dog. And I guarantee a lot of those people would have been doing that.
Do you know what?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that probably has happened a little bit. Probably not a lot, but there will be people. It makes you sick, doesn't it? But there we go.
Yeah, it depresses me, because it's yet another example of how our population, large proportions of our population, just are not only obnoxiously antisocial when they think no one's watching them, but they, the logic filters, it just, there's nothing in their heads. The logic filters. Why do we have to force people to do something that's just basic courtesy to other human beings? Why do you have to force people? Because I said I don't understand the logic where people do it. I do understand the logic, because what it is you get these people who walk in their dogs and they see someone can see them when their dog's having a shit. So that's why they get the bag out. And that's why they go to the trouble of, oh, I better clear up after my my little poodle. And then they look over their shoulder, oh, get in the bag. Oh, that person's out of view. Great. Toss it in the grass. So.
Right. Have you stepped on some dog shit recently? Or walked into a fucking hanging dog shit bag or something like that?
You know what? I don't have a dog, and I don't come across dog shit, so I don't really know why I'm making a big deal of this. I think it's probably because I see a lot of other people, and yes, you could argue, oh, it's a middle class curtain switcher concern, but I see it a lot on community pages. It pisses a lot of people off.
Yeah, but you're not that pissed off about it though.
No, not at all. No,
you just want to waterboard people.
Yeah, not specifically for the dog shit thing.
All right, just people in general.
Mike, the dog shit thing is more of it's kind of a cipher. It's a totem of behavior, right? It's not specifically the dog shit. It's the mentality that it demonstrates to the people who do it.
Yeah.
You're an arsehole. We've said before, the Late Night Large motto, what is it? Don't be an arsehole.
Yeah.
Therefore, we will waterboard you until you stop being an arsehole.
Yeah, because don't be an arsehole. I mean, yeah, sounds a bit hypocritical coming from me, but don't be an arsehole. Fucking right.
Anyway, Mike, aside from your issues with dog shit,
yeah.
How's lockdown life been treating you this last week or so? Anything interesting or noteworthy?
No, I think, well, obviously, today we got the change of the rules.
Have you taken advantage of it?
No, I've been at work.
So you've already had to be around far more than 5 other people all the time.
Half of the course for me. But while we speak about half of the course,
golf courses.
I can go and play golf now, so that's booked in.
All right.
Hey.
All right, old man.
Yeah, so that's booked in.
You're going to be hobnobbing with your superiors, aren't you? Playing golf with the old chief execs, the district manager. Oh, can I? Yeah, nice shot, sir. So, who's up for this next promotion?
Well, unfortunately. Well, look, what do you want me to do? I tried just being really good at my job.
The game, yeah.
That doesn't work. It's you've obviously got to suck a lot of dick, and do you know what?
Don't hate
I've
the
got
player.
a gag reflex, so.
Oh,
let's do it.
You could have just said, "Don't hate the player, hate the game," and you went with, "I have a strong gag reflex."
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, I can suck a dick with the best of them. Yeah.
All right. So anyway, other than being at work, so you haven't taken advantage of it yet. Are you planning on taking advantage of it in the next week or so? Because it's Easter, isn't it? Easter this weekend.
It's Easter, yeah. We've got no beer plans.
No.
or anything like that. My mum mentioned something about barbecue. She wanted to do that when she could or something, and I'll probably avoid that. And then what we got? Yeah, no beer plans yet, but I've got golf. That's planned in for the weekend. So.
Oh, you know what you should do, Mike? You know what would be a really funny idea for someone like you?
Yeah, well, someone like me.
Yeah,
right, okay, here we go.
like
Go on, then.
with your friends. Well, because it's Easter, do an Easter egg hunt, but with beer cans. Beer hunt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So either a garden or a playing field or whatever. Somebody cracks open a 6-pack or a 12-pack and just plants beer cans all over the place.
Okay, I'm up for that. Could even be. Have you seen there's like a Cadbury's cream egg lager or something they bring it out?
Jesus.
Yeah, sounds disgusting, doesn't it? But I do. It's Easter themed, and it gets the beer in there. So
yeah,
a hunt for those.
That really is late stage capitalism at its finest. Cream egg beer. Nice. But no, listen, I think that's a great idea. Now, obviously, I'm not saying we should play this with alcoholics, but people like Mike, who's just a fun-loving character who wants to just have an excuse to get pissed while also potentially meeting 5 other friends. I'll get those 4 other people plus me and Mike, and I'll say, okay, everyone, you got 20 minutes, spread out across the playing field, find the beer. And the notion is, so if there's me, there can only be 5 other people. So there's you and 4 other friends. And the idea is, say there's 12 cans. If you find a can, you've got to down it, or at least drink it as quickly as possible. But that's yours. So whoever finds the most cans gets the most twatted, basically.
Sounds like a plan. I've got to point out, it happened last time. We didn't share it with the guys. But we'll do it this time, and that was definitely you, Ben. My fucking Google device from the other room has just turned itself on and thinks you're talking to it.
Really?
When you went, okay, people, it thought you said, okay, Google. It must have done.
Brilliant.
Just turned itself on. So talking.
Google, search for kiddie porn.
Google, stop. Later.
Sorry. My apologies, everyone. That was clearly a joke. I wouldn't condone that at all. Not something that should be laughed at. So I'd like
not
it
publicly.
But yeah, no, the beer Easter egg hunt is I think is a great idea to get in with your mates in the great outdoors. Take advantage of old Bojo the Clown releasing the restrictions a little bit. So we've all had mental health deficiencies through lack of stimulation and what have you. So let's take maximum advantage of these new freedoms before we lose the freedom to congregate in any kind of groups in any scenario, lest we be batoned into submission by our friendly local neighborhood bobbies. So Mike, what's been growing on this week in terms of COVID, other than the imminent relaxation or slight relaxation of the rules?
Well, we've had that, haven't we? Did I read somewhere that I want to say yesterday, London recorded like no COVID deaths?
Yes, well done. Yeah, no, I forgot to note that down, but I did read that today. So apparently, and if that doesn't sound too impressive, or you think, well, what's the context? That's the first time since September, apparently, that's been recorded. So believe it or not, September was what, 5 months ago, 6 months ago.
Yes, yeah. Well, we've had all of March, Jan, December.
We've had the whole winter.
November. October, yeah.
Jesus.
That's over half a year ago.
Yeah, over half a year. Time dilation is just crazy at the moment. It's really difficult to get a handle on what time is passing and when. Like, I don't know. it really, honestly, this is, I think the best way to put this, Mike, is we will look back upon this period as being quite momentous. You know, it's easy when you're going through something to like bemoan it and say same old shit and whatever, but this is really, really unusual, this period. Like I say, you know, this will be something similar that maybe the people had to go back in the Spanish flu pandemic of 1918. You know, this is something you will tell your grandkids about, assuming we all get through it. So try and, I mean, relish is maybe the wrong word, but kind of, I don't know, put yourself in context. You're going through an unprecedented worldwide event. You know,
I'm not sure that'll offer much.
I'm not saying it will offer a huge amount of succor, but just, I don't know. Remember that this is a momentous time in history anyway. But yeah, 6 months. So anyway, yeah, no COVID deaths in London, so that's really good. I was also keeping an eye on the you know, the usual stats that we keep an eye on, and it looks as if we are looking, I mean, the thing is, it's always tempered with a but. So if you look at the stats, just over 45% of people have apparently received at least one vaccine dose. Yay us, go us. We're still streaking ahead. Daily cases is below 5,000, which is good. Hospital cases under 5,000, which is good. Deaths are only in double figures rather than triple figures nationwide. But, and obviously it's a big but, now we're releasing restrictions. So obviously as night follows day, those numbers will start to creep up. What we're keeping our fingers crossed about is that they will not creep up very much, that we will keep them at a level, like we say, hopefully just below 1 at the worst, so we can try and just ease our way out of this as smoothly as possible. I don't know how likely that is, but what do you think, Mike? Are we going to be more sensible this time, or rather are certain employers and or assorted individuals going to be more responsible this time? Because I say responsible, apparently you know, the Prime Minister couldn't resist making a twat out of himself again with a ridiculous comment about encouraging people to go back to the office again. I mean, you do wonder whether he's whether it just goes through his head that, oh, I'm just going to wind everyone up again. But I don't know. What do you think?
Oh, look, I don't think that anyone's going to be any more sensible this time. Like, you'd like to think that people would have gone through another lockdown and gone, fuck that, fuck doing that again. No way. But unfortunately, too many people won't look at it like that. They'll look at it as, oh, fucking hell, I do another one of those. I deserve a blowout now. Me. I deserve this. I deserve that. I had to do this. I wanted this and I want that. And then, yeah, nobody's going to be any more sensible.
Do you think that's
they're going to use the fact that, oh, well, we had to do this for ages now.
Doesn't that sound quite childish? Like
Yeah,
that.
it does, yeah. Yeah, it does, yeah. But are you surprised?
No, I'm not. I just, you know, you know, like the people, we know who we're talking about. We're not talking about people who are upset with lockdown or really want to get out of there. We're talking about the people that try and make it all about no more lockdowns, Boris, stop restricting our freedoms. And every time I see that stuff, I just think, did you ever grow out of being a spoilt teenager? And yet a lot of these people are probably fathers and mothers themselves. And they have the nerve to probably discipline their kids and go, stop having a tantrum, you just do what I tell you to do. And it's like, well, what kind of example are you setting? Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that you should always do exactly what the government says. But this is backed up by copious medical evidence and advice from genuine professionals. How many times have people had it explained to them that this is why we have to wear masks, this is why we socially distance, this is why we can only meet outside? And yet these people are still like, they want to control us. I'm not standing for it anymore. Masks are fascism. Just, oh, I don't, anyway, sorry, I don't know where that was going. It's just another rage against people who are very hard at thinking.
Yeah, I don't know where I was going either. You just kind of went off on a little tangent there. Well, not
Yes,
really
mate.
on a tangent, but you got a bit carried away, didn't you? Like you did with the dog poo.
Yeah. Give me a comment. No, but give me a comment then, Mike, on what Boris came out with. Sorry. Fuck, I've got to stop calling him by his fucking first name as if I like him in any way. Johnson, what was his what did you think of that comment about people going back to the office? In fact, I heard
Boris, call him Boris, he's your best mate.
Shut up. I heard a rumor, sorry, a groomer. I heard a groomer that he also, on one of his unhinged little rants that I think he's just being a troll at, he made some kind of a comment that people working from home were really just having time off.
Yeah.
Now this,
I saw a comment he made that
now
could be misconstrued. I think it would be misconstrued as Boris thinks you've all been lazy, not doing anything.
And of course, it takes one to know one, because Johnson is well renowned as one of the laziest politicians to ever hold office.
I didn't hear the words come out of his mouth directly.
No, I guess not. No, and
so I don't know.
Avoid his press conferences, so I've only sort of read it spread around.
Yeah. So I don't know if I heard it, what everyone else heard or thought they heard or whatever. I'd probably have the correct opinion. I was going to say an opinion on it, or a stronger opinion on it. Obviously, what I think is obviously right, and fuck everyone else, you're wrong. But unless you agree with me, of course, that's fine. Agree with me all you like. I doubt very much that he meant to imply that.
Did he not?
Or was it a bit of a Freudian slip? I don't know. Maybe he does actually feel that way. And oh fuck, actually, maybe I shouldn't have said that because. No, do you know what? I don't think he thinks that people are. Well, do you know what? If he does, fuck him. Come.
Yeah, I mean, look, listen.
That's what you wanted me to say, wasn't it?
Well,
you wanted me to join you with a bit of Boris bashing.
No, Mike. What I was going to say is he's got form. You know, he's literally written columns talking about how working class men are feckless, single mothers are scum of the earth, these kind of things. So he and you know, he's made numerous derogatory comments towards black people, Muslims, women. So is it really like stretching to think that he would like make a comment like that?
No, it isn't. But then because he's got form, it's easy for everyone just to say that's what he means every time now.
Yeah, well, no, but that's how it works, isn't it? You know, if you're a womanizer, then your reputation precedes you. If I see you in public with a lady, I'm always like, got my eyebrow raised, like, all right, Mike, who's this? You know, because your reputation precedes you. So, you know, don't be surprised if all you do is trash talk other people, and then when you say something that could be misconstrued as trashing people, you're like, oh yeah, that's just what he always does. He's a cunt. Speaking of being a cunt, Mike, I know you can shut me down immediately. I know this is slightly not on COVID, but remember, it is our Prime Minister who is leading the COVID response. What do you think about the story that's come out, I think, in the last couple of days? You know, that blonde Jennifer R. Corey, who, yeah, you know where I'm going with this, who, I mean, I just wanted to ask you the question, Mike. Would anyone else have got away with this? So, for anyone who's not aware of this, our Prime Minister has just been revealed. I'm trying to get this exactly right. He met a blonde bit of totty, as he would describe her, in the course of business when he was London mayor, I believe. There's a suggestion that he misappropriated public funds, although I don't know whether there was an internal investigation said no, there was nothing improper about it. But this woman's business benefited from public money, which was decided by Boris Johnson. And it's now been revealed that he was shagging this woman for 4 years, right? So for most people, that would be career ending. You know, if you were a mayor of a major city and it was found that you handed over money to, again, it was suspicious because she was an American, and it was like, well, why wasn't he just paying a British company? So he handed over public money to an American woman who he was then later revealed to have been having an affair with. So you could argue he's effectively paying other people's money for sex. So that's part of the story. Now, most people, that would be career ending. But then, you know, just to add some icing to that shit cake, Boris Johnson was having this affair while he was still married, and then later left his wife while she was dealing with cancer so he could run off with his secretary, who he's now with in number 10, Carrie. I don't know. I mean, again, I know it's not strictly related to COVID, but this is the fucking guy who's leading us during this pandemic. You know, I know we all chuckle about.
You're questioning his morals, then.
Yes. Well, it's not so much questioning his morals. It's just going like, well, how far have we fallen that we allow someone who leads us to be like this bankrupt in terms of basic ethics? You know, aside from chuckling about getting your end away, that's pretty fucking low. Like, all of that is just like almost cartoonishly, ethically very, very dubious.
I mean, it is. We don't know the ins and outs of his personal life, though, and I think it'd be improper of us to pretend that we do. But what we can say from the outside looking in is it doesn't look great. I think that's probably a little bit of an understatement. But you know, we shouldn't really comment too much on his personal relationships.
Well, I know he does.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't think his personal relationships make him any more or less capable of running the country.
Cards on the table, Mike. I don't give a fuck where Boris Johnson shoves his little chipolata. What I do have a problem with is him relentlessly lying about everything. So, you know, let's just put that on the table. I've not got Catholic morals like Jacob Rees-Mogg, who has his head up Boris Johnson's arsehole, and has the nerve to pontificate about these things and say Boris is a great leader. It's like, I thought you were a strict Catholic. So now Catholics approve of extramarital affairs, apparently, and abortion, which presumably would have come along at some point, and you know, all these kind of sordid affairs. I couldn't give a shit who he chooses to stick his thing into, but I do have a problem with the fact that he just gets through life lying, being lazy, dropping things onto other people, and not forgetting, again, we are creeping towards or even past 140,000 deaths, and yet we're glad to be kind of plateauing a little bit. But if this doesn't work, you know, particularly if we get to the winter and for any reason the vaccine thing hasn't gone well, or we've been stupid enough to import a new variant because we've allowed foreign holidays for Tory voters, and a new variant comes in, we could be looking at 200,000 people dead in the winter.
I think we are in trouble if we get to winter again and this isn't properly under control. So, you know, like the June date or whatever it is, where they've said, you know, basically fucking all is fair in love and war, go out and do what you want from then or whenever it is.
Yeah.
You know, you can basically, restrictions are gone. Yeah, whether that happens or not, I'm not saying it will or it won't. Be surprised. But I'm not saying it will or it won't. But what I am saying is, if we get to winter again and it's not properly under control, and for whatever reason that hasn't worked, and the timelines we have now we can't keep to, I think we're in trouble.
Yeah,
I think we're in trouble. You know,
I noticed.
and
Sorry, carry on, Mike.
I was going to say, and you know, if we get to winter and it hasn't, that means we would have probably entered or be entering another lockdown, a fourth lockdown, if that happens. You know, and actually, wouldn't it be a shame if that did happen, just because we shot our load a few weeks too early, or a month or two too soon, and we just had to let these restrictions happen. Listen, like I said, I'm going to go and play golf at the weekend. I mean, golf is, I'm much safer playing golf than I am going to work, but you know, in an open field with one other person, we spend no time near each other anyway, because fucking his ball goes off that way, my ball goes off that way. No, we're never on the fucking fairway. There's no, do you know what I mean? So, yeah. So
spend more time
safer
to get your ball back.
Yeah, I mean, but that's golf. That's just what I think. You know, so I'm going to do that. But wouldn't it be a shame if we, you know, if we end up just maybe if we'd have just waited, and then I say, wouldn't it be a shame? I think I spoke before about it being a fucking travesty, and I'd probably lose my fucking shit. But
yeah,
let's hope that doesn't happen, because, like you say, winter, we hit winter again with this, and we're fucked. Because, and you know, we have enough problems with everything else in winter. We have enough problems with flu and.
Well, that's been the argument there, hasn't it? That's one of the arguments that's been floated that was really interesting, is part of the reason that the excess deaths doesn't seem as catastrophic as it could is because the fact that so many people are wearing masks has ironically brought the seasonal flu levels down to practically nothing. So although we've been transmitting COVID, you know, natural flu, the normal flu viruses have hardly gained a foothold at all in the winter. So it's weird how these little intricacies crop up sometimes. Idiosyncrasies. Mike, I noticed that I think the government are doing a public information campaign where they're saying to people, they're drilling it into people and saying, listen, rule of 6, we know you've been looking forward to this, but please remember, and they keep banging on about fresh air. So I think they've even added it to the slogan. So it's like hand, space, face, fresh air. Like saying to people, you know, you must do all these things outside. Basically, do not take anything behind closed doors, because that's where we get the transmission. Do you think that's going to have any kind of tangible impact on people's behavior? It's a no.
It's a no from me.
It's a no from me.
I don't think so. No.
It's a shame, because there was a time when public information films really could have a proper impact on public behaviour. Maybe they don't make them like they used to, or people don't trust the government as much as they used to. I don't know. The other good news, Mike, that's a bit of a surprise. So you know, I was saying earlier about Johnson.
Surprise.
You know, I was saying earlier about Johnson's verbal twattery. Well, I think part of it is because he wasn't being his usual twat to the usual targets. So normally Johnson's just being a twat to the EU. But he's actually been very sensible and grown up. And who knows, maybe someone taught him that sometimes it's positive to be a statesman. So apparently, obviously the last fortnight really, he's been rumbling on that the EU who for once are behind the curve with us and have made it not a catastrophe, because that's what we've done, but they've not done particularly well on sourcing and distributing their vaccines across the EU, and we've put them to shame, and it's amazing. It's almost like we threw a lot of shit at the wall and finally something stuck, which is great. But you know, they weren't happy about it, and there was talk that was rumbling on for like 2 weeks or so, where they were saying we're gonna block imports, block exports to Britain, to the UK. We're going to block them until we get more, you know, threatening the makers of the vaccine, saying you've reneged on your contracts, agreements, these kind of things. Anyway, it sounds as if, obviously it wasn't just Johnson, but it sounds as if the government has actually finally been grown up and done a statesman-like thing, where Johnson, led by Johnson, has just kind of said, listen, we're not going to achieve anything by sticking our fingers up at the EU, because, you know, people are going to be traveling in Europe potentially, and it will bring it back here. So it's in all our interest to get everyone vaccinated across the continent as soon as we can. So they've worked something out, I think, where, you know, effectively we share them more equitably, stop the kind of problems of blockages and hoarding and these kind of things. So fingers crossed, maybe we finally, you know, seen Johnson do something statesman-like. So that's good. So do you know what, Mike, though? The thing that I can't stop thinking is, would it not be pertinent, would it not be very sensible and advantageous to just say right now, no foreign holidays this year? Would you not feel more comfortable if we just said that? No foreign holidays this year. Just this year, get it under control, no variants brought in. We'll all get back to it next year. Or is that too draconian? How do you see it?
I think you're flirting with a line there. I don't think the logic is. I'm not saying your logic's flawed in any way, shape, or form. So obviously, whatever, you know, that logic follows. You know, you're limiting risk to our little island by not going elsewhere and bringing stuff back. Of course, it's fucking common sense, but if you get to a stage, I should probably say, where everything's just fucking fair game again in this country and it's open. Now, I understand that doesn't mean, well, let's fucking go everywhere else must be fine then. Obviously not. But, you know, say, I don't know what it is, June the 22nd or whatever, might be wrong, where everyone can do what the fuck they like again, basically. Just because yeah, all right, let's get that in, didn't you? Yeah, so we do what the fuck we like again. That doesn't mean everyone else is like sorted and ready. That doesn't mean Spain are fine or Greece are fine on the 22nd of June, because that's our deadline, or whatever. I don't know if that's the right date, like I say. You know, I don't think, but I think I won't go on a foreign holiday this year, I don't think.
No. Me neither. I mean, is there an argument, Mike, that but would it not show that we are definitely all in this together if we said no more foreign holidays this year? Because let's face it, the foreign holidays are generally going to be the middle classes, aren't they? Can't we say that everyone's suffered? No, hang on, hear me out. It's not just a matter of punishing everyone, but say to everyone, let's get around the UK. Let's have staycations. We'll go wherever you like in the UK. Wouldn't the economy need that kind of, the hospitality industry particularly? Wouldn't they need?
No, listen, look, I don't disagree with that last point, but I don't think it will just be middle classes. No, in fact, I think if we say staycations only, I think that's more limited to the middle and upper classes, because you know, the reality of the situation is you can go on a holiday to a Greek island or somewhere in Spain or whatever, and it actually costs you less than it would to go away for the same time in this country.
Okay.
In a lot of cases.
Yeah, I kind of see, but no. But surely COVID's affected that, though, Mike. Think about it.
No, I disagree. I don't think I'm not saying COVID hasn't affected
Businesses aren't going to be desperate and lower their prices to get.
I'm saying 5 years ago, you could probably get a better deal on a foreign holiday or pay less to go on a foreign holiday.
I agree. Yeah, I see what you're saying, but what I mean is, post-COVID, the rules of the game have been ripped up. Post-COVID, a lot of hospitality and service industries are going to be on their knees. They're going to need to pack themselves out for however many weeks and weeks and weeks, just so they're on a steady footing again. It just won't. It wouldn't make sense to me for them to go back in exactly the same prices as they were pre-COVID. Because remember, you're chasing people who, yes, the people who've been lucky enough to hold on to their jobs will probably have more money, but the people who either have lost their jobs or are very precarious employment, or in the case of some of these scumbags, have been fired and rehired on worse terms, are going to have less money. So I don't know. It's all about supply and demand, isn't it?
It is.
Okay, so we're not agreeing on that then. We haven't got a concrete agreement that the banning foreign holidays for the rest of the year is necessarily a balanced idea. I'd like to see it happen. I'm not sure it will, but
I don't think it will happen.
Why risk another winter lockdown? This is my argument. Just so.
No, I agree. But I think on the other side of that coin, they could say, well, why risk letting people play football from today in their teams and things like that? That's another thing. Why? Yeah, is that necessary? Is that any? I get, right. It is obviously more necessary than a foreign holiday. Physically, mentally, again, maybe it's on par. There will be people that will come forward and say, "Oh no, I need my holiday," and whatever. And you know what? People do need a break. Let's not play that down. People
no one, least of all me, is saying no one deserves a holiday at all. What they're saying is they should have that holiday next year.
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't know. Well, then, no, I don't know.
Okay.
There's arguments for and against, isn't there?
Yeah, I know. Well, that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing, is arguing.
Did we need to send the kids back when we did?
Leave those kids alone. Yeah, I get you. Okay.
But we did. So
we did, and like you say, we haven't quite caught up with the data. We don't really know how much of an impact that's had. I understand we're getting regular tests for secondary school students, which is hopefully have an impact.
I don't think they're that accurate, though, are they? There's a lot come out about the accuracy of these.
Better than nothing, isn't it? At least
it is. Of course, it is. Yeah.
But anyway, like we've said many times before, what we spent 37 billion on a test and trace that doesn't work, which is, as we've discussed before, one of the most expensive projects known to man. And until we have an inquiry, the people who've pocketed that money are laughing all the way to the bank. So there we go. Mike, if we don't have anything else, you got anything else you want to discuss? Otherwise, we could wrap it up.
I think we wrap it up there. We wrap it up. The usual, like, subscribe, share, do all that good stuff. If you think that you even mildly entertaining, send a link to your brother or your sister or your dad, your uncle, your cousin, your nephew, your niece, whatever. Share the love.
Always. Yeah. And sending our love to the 2 recent subscribers. Thank you all. We welcome you into our den of iniquity. And yeah, do click like, comment, share, click that little bell, because you know you don't know when our new videos are coming out. It's generally twice a week now with extra time, so you know, plenty to get your teeth into. Stick us on before bed, stick us on when you're in the tub, stick us on wherever. When you're on the bus, get some headphones in, listen to us talk garbage for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And above all, stay safe, because we want you to still be alive to hear our nonsensical takes on events. And we'll get through this together, and it will be over eventually. You know, this historic event, a once in a century event. Obviously, probably going to be a lot more than that with climate change, but there we go. And Mike, if you don't have anything to add, we will grow you next time, people.